Today they look at Salone 64 years of independence and look at within the country to achieve and within in it for do. And we want for welcome with studio guests them, Mike Berewa, Director of Communication, State House. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone.
Good morning, Radio Democracy.
And also we want for welcome Thomas Moore-Conteh, Executive Director of Citizens Advocacy Network CAN. Good morning, Thomas Moore, and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
It's been a while.
Yes, indeed.
Gentlemen, una morning again.
Good morning, Radio Democracy.
Yes. I'll start with you, Mike Berewa. We look at what Salone don't achieve 60 since 1961 to date, 64 years down the line. And but make we look at this year's celebration. How you can describe them so far?
Well, I would say a celebration of hope over fear, a celebration of where we want to go as a country, and what we would achieve. If you listen to the president's speech, it makes him very clear, very explicitly say, this year from 2024 to 2025 we don't achieve a lot. If you take a look at even from the agricultural sector, you look at feed salon, say we don't bump up.
We look at the president's speech, that all form part of what we don't achieve in 7 years. But when you look at this year's 64 years, the traditional thing them way blacks happen during independence, not happen. We not see pardon lists, we not see insignia awards from the president. Exactly, and the president self not been there even at the country for the celebration. What are the explanations for the different year we happen during the 64 years?
Well, there is no cutting edge fast rule, golden rule. We say every year we have to have a signal awards, or every year this is how we have to celebrate our independence. President make a very clear say, let's pray, let's reflect where we've come from, where we are, and where we want to go, and that happened. And if you want to say because President traveled out of the country, President is coming back today. Today night really will get we the celebrate independence. I believe say we know about that, say na hockey pitch, where we all converge, where we will talk about a symposium, we talk about where we've come from, where we are and where we're going. And President get for today as a guest speaker. President in travel one room, he's a Catholic. And besides, he has a relationship with the Pope we die. We don't see pictures of him in woman. And in a morally religious person that they down, they call, and they pray for him. So if the person die, they want to go honor, give him last respect. I think as president to forgive him that right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because it coincides with we independence. What is important as Sierra Leoneans is what we are celebrating. And I believe that today for today. And what is hopeful about this country? What is our responsibility as Sierra Leoneans? I feel that for discuss, Musa.
Okay.
We have been doing that. Pull paddle, pull lantern since this past 5 years, right? So I just make very clear to you, say, President tell we as a country, say, let's reflect. Would I get for go pray because it was a Sunday? Let everybody go now in worship centers and let them go pray. Let them go pray for this country. It doesn't mean that it don't tire. It doesn't mean that nothing only for celebrate. No, it means that we as Sierra Leoneans, and this is what the symposium is about today. Let's reflect from where we've come from. Let's reflect because also independence. It's not just about just celebration. It's really about what's independent, waiting, who don't come and who day, waiting are the responsibilities of we the citizens. I will tell you, say, Musa, a lot of we Sierra Leoneans, them, we not get a civic education day. As Sierra Leoneans, what is our responsibility on Independence Day? What do we need to know about Sierra Leone? Why we even get independence? What's the important? What's your only responsibility as an individual Sierra Leoneans? So sometimes we just ask government, we look at people in power, we look at people in position, say, oh, government don't feel we, this now we right. Yes, you have a right. You have a right to health, you have a right to freedom of speech, you have a right to vote, you have a right to a lot of things. But wait a minute, Musa. You also have responsibilities as citizen, right? Responsibility for paying taxes. Responsibility for make sure say if ETSA give lights, if I pay for the light bill. Responsibility say if Guma give water, if I pay the water bill. Right? So this independent, this is what we want as a country for let people know. Say Independence is not only about Pool Debu, Pool Kakadebu, Dance Street. That's way how they may celebrate them. For us, it's a different way of celebration.
Two things.
Yes.
We Blancy President the pardon people during independence, and also give awards to deserving Australians. We know see mates. Is it that it therefore happen this year, or then two activities no go happen at all?
No, that not get for
today
happen.
or this year or going further.
I know say the Signal Awards not get for happen. They get for happen on 65. That's what we're planning for. It's going to be big, right? So that not get for happen. But then a president in prerogative that if you want for pardon people, I can speak on that behalf, right? I can decide, say, I want to pardon people. You know what I mean? Say it has to be on that specific day. Like I tell you, say, we independent celebration is not continuous one, right? Today, we are all going to converge at the hockey pitch, right? We are going to reflect. We look at Sierra Leone. Yesterday, we look at Sierra Leone today, and we look at Sierra Leone tomorrow. So, a lot today for land. We are in historians that get for come explain to why we go for independence. What have we achieved as Sierra Leoneans who for celebrate and who for embrace, and where are we going as Sierra Leoneans? So I will say that's very important. Now that are there for tell people why that is important, why people for go, why people for listen, why people for follow, and then also tell people say this country is a beautiful country. There's a lot we can celebrate, and we are celebrating. We're celebrating peace. We're celebrating women's empowerment. We're celebrating the achievements we've made in education. We're celebrating how we don't make energy access to rural communities. We're celebrating how we want to feed this country. So there is a lot of hope in this country.
All right. So we can look at the light sector, where you talk about improvement, and also the education sector, which is mentioned. But I'll go over to you, Thomas Moore-Conteh. We're now the Executive Director for Citizen Advocacy Network. Good morning once more. Welcome to the Democracy.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Yesterday, Salon celebrates 64 years. Anything they for celebrate?
As an organization, Citizens Advocacy Network believes this now period we will need for confront the brutal reality. Not a period is for celebrate, because we don't get much for celebrate as a nation. 64 years after Salon gets independence, we still grapple with basic amenities. We still grapple for get sober electricity supply in our country. We still grapple for get sober health system. Women they die during childbearing. We get pikin they die as a result of lack of oxygen in our hospitals. We get hospitals that they go without the necessary facilities we will make them able to provide the medical services we will provide to poor people. Medical services don't become very, very costly today. If you want to get super medical service, you need to go to a private hospital, and we know what's in that the cost. The poor people continue to be poorer, while the rich, they become richer. We have power, people who have power for decades, we don't treat the lives of people with contempt. Salon is a country we blessed beyond measure. I wonder how many countries there in the world where God bless rich Salon. Salon gets very many mineral resources. I can count up to 20 mineral resources we get at this country. We get very good beaches in terms of tourism. We get the hills. We get very good land for cultivation of agricultural produce. We have beautiful people who get good hearts. People who are law abiding, I must say. The cost we Salon get over time in our leadership. For now, we still then are a state celebrating 64 years, and we struggle with constant electricity supply. Things the way countries the way they close to we don't pass. Decades ago, we still get communities where they boast of water. They don't even forget water safe for drink. Where people will live in squalor. We youth them there in a despondent state to a point that they defend soccer in kush and other harmful drugs. With education sector, it's not admirable, I must say.
Yeah.
We will come for talk about things in details as we go.
Okay.
All sectors then get challenges like this country 64 years down the line. The only thing we will blame, the only people we will blame, are the one who don't lead this country over time.
Right.
Because we have seen how good leaderships that other countries don't transform the lives of the people how the fortune of the countries they don't change because of their sound policies and programs, and because of the selflessness they don't manifest. We have always wallowed in mediocrity in this country. People they give little, but they amplify them and make it appear as if they are giving Sierra Leoneans everything, when Sierra Leoneans receive little or nothing.
Alright. You don't lay premise on things them we don't happen since when we gain independence. But let me narrow down for this year some celebration. How you would describe this year's celebration? Is it Nasowi for celebrator in that quiet manner, according to Mr. Mike?
This year's celebration is very somber.
What do you mean?
Somber in the sense it come at the time when Salundong top the rank. Indicators, these are some of the indicators that you look at for able to determine countries that we happen in the world. Okay. When they celebrate 64 years, Salon gets that kind of position in the world, and we feel say there is nothing to celebrate, literally nothing to celebrate, I must say.
Okay.
Because that report is very, very true, very credible. It is speak to the issues that are waiting at the ground. We all know, except one for be very hypocritical to the fact. The living conditions of the people in this country don't become poorer than they were before. Even you when you walk, you feel the pinch, because when you move around, you see people all over the place, they hang around you. People they cry about hardship. The gap between the poor and the rich, they widen. Unemployment, they at its all-time high. We see even when we get employment, when we in employment, people in employment in the country cannot cater for the basic needs because of the poor conditions of the employment. We get with youths when are the precious jewel of the country don't retire into drug abuse because they don't lose hope. Okay. When we went up talk just now, he said we for celebrate and get hope. Since 64 years, we government and government officials don't tell Sierra Leone now the country during independence. I must say, there is no law we say if for day during independence. It not broke any law, but we all know say for the respect of the people when you celebrate your country in independence. Now one of the most historic days in any country in life. The leadership and the government will be receptive to the issues they also. These are days where we expect the government for take an introspection, therefore examine themselves as leaders, whether they have been really truthful to the people of this country, okay, whether the promises were they give to the people of this country some years ago, they don't go to a very large extent for achieve them, and waiting at the challenges they way then get, and waiting at the plans they put in place for deal with them challenges there.
Thomas Moore, let we look at the excuse way or the explanation way Mike Berewa give from State House as to why the president need for dinner the Pope in Berin during Salo independence. You're not convinced with that at all, that this is not a personal person and it be the pray for and the time we die alive?
This is not impersonal. Let me say it has to do with priority. The president take the Pope in burial very, very important, even when he clashed with the independence celebration. As I said initially, he has not committed any offense, he not breach any law, but he got to do with who side in own priority day. What thing it takes serious at a given time when the two things then clash, when the two events then clash. If it had been me, now president, I would definitely be around during the celebration of the anniversary, because now a very important celebration for rekindle the spirit of the poor people who look up to we as leaders, for take them from the doldrums of underdevelopment, to the acme of hope, where they don't tell me about all this while. And now we left with country at a time when people, they look up to the leadership, give them the necessary courage and hope. But as I say, you get for do it in priorities. They say they don't shift the programs, they don't forget Independence Day to the 60 to today. Not just so, to today. That is it is up for us and the public for judge and for determining things. And as I say, you're not committing any offense.
Continue for stay with me inside the program. Thomas Moore-Conteh, cities from CAN, Citizens Advocacy Networking, and Executive Director. Account to Mike Berewa, Director of Communication now State House. You earlier say we get a lot for celebrate, but according to you co-panelists, we not get much for celebrate this year.
Well,
our 64 years of independence.
I don't want this to be between me and Tom, because he's a fine gentleman and a citizen of this country. Most of the things that we say, I agree with them. Say we've not achieved much. And that's not, I'm not here to defend. I not come sit down here and say, oh, now this. But one thing I want to let Thomas know, say, I mean, we are not retrogressing as a nation. You get what I mean? We're not they who side one for day. I totally agree with them. If they make mention of indicators, but indicators and they here, I will tell you, say, let me hear you celebrate. I will tell you, say, Lord, celebrate the peace index. If they talk about Sierra Leone is one of the most peaceful countries in the world, and Africa as a whole. Authoritative index, I put that now. If Thomas talk about health outcomes, I will tell you, say we make tremendous gain in the world. Where WHO just released a report on maternal and infant mortalities was slashed by 60%. What does that mean? The way Bella woman and they died in this country 10 years ago, not to sudden they die again. The way picking and they died in this country 10 years ago, not to sudden they die again. If we look at the UNESCO report on what? On girl child completing education, Thomas, they do research. They're out there a lot. They go agree with me, say, we don't get more girl picking when they finish school now this country than how it used to be 10 years ago. If we also say we look at press freedom, Thomas, then at the media space, they go agree with me, say, press freedom high be did 10 years ago, not to so a day. Now we don't get a lot of media space. In fact, there's a lot of subvention where they go to for alleviate media poverty now in this country. We see the indicators them from the MCC report. We give a pass to that. If Thomas talk about indicators, we also look at the gender equality in this country. You look at this country now, you see 30% of women in all walks of life, in governance, then they in governance, then they in all walks of life in this country, in other places of work, banking institutions, you go to media spaces, you go to parliament, in all walks, in all shape or form. So now I say, I am not here to say, oh, now this we don't do. It's not a APC SPP business. Independent celebration is a nationalistic something. We may come here can't tell people, say, yes, we have a lot of challenges. We have challenges in our health sector. We have challenges in our energy sector. We have challenges with agriculture. Everything what Thomas is say, I partly agree with him. But what I want let Thomas agree with me also is that we are making progress. We are not there where we want to be. We are making progress. Maybe the argument or the conversation will be, we are not making much progress, which I agree. The whole world now is constrained with a lot of inequalities. It's constrained with a lot of funds. We look at Salon, we look at how they get to money, we look at how they do extractive industries, we look at how citizens' responsibilities, mindsets, and all anything and the whole way back. But we can't say we are not making progress. We can't say 64 years how we then are so don't they? No, I disagree.
So you think that the country don't improve?
If the country don't improve?
Since colonial days, how the British then be left from?
Yes, we don't improve a little bit because
what indicators in terms of basic amenities, light, water, heat, and housing?
Well, if we come to data now, Musa, I will tell you, say, most Sierra Leoneans they don't connect to electricity than how they did 10 years back. Yes, we go look at Freetown. Freetown is not just.
We need to look at Salon 10 years back. We are looking at Salon since independence.
Since independence, by then I was not born. I dey look at, not narrow the conversation here. The thing wey me and you know. So if I dey talk something wey not true, you go tell me say Musa, Mike, I don't think that is true. Something on a reality, I like how my brother put the premise on reality, right? So now look at 64 years, I was not born by then. You understand what I'm saying? But I can able to tell you from the war, what the war came, not forget say the war ravages country, 11 years of war ravages country. It took us back to zero.
But other countries then they don't go through that same thing they will go, but they don't progress.
I totally agree. And that's where citizens' responsibility comes in, my brother.
Citizen responsibility. Waiting a government responsibility to citizens.
It's both ways. Government is government for the people, by the people. We responsibility start from how we choose our leaders also.
Is it that we don't choose the wrong leader then?
Sometimes, yes, I will agree with that. Because leadership not only means that presidency. Leadership can mean say even the area, man, where you get na you area. How you choose them. The women's leader na your area, how you choose them. The youth leader na your area, how you choose them. You parliamentarians them, how you choose them, right? So this go both ways. Since we talk about nationalism here, it got both ways. So citizens also have a responsibility, and we within our power, we within governance also have responsibility.
But the presidents way they rule country at any given time get a very big role for play for shape the entire leadership system to the village headman level. How you don't they describe the president them way Saludo they get since independence in terms of development?
In terms of development,
yes.
I will tell you,
national interest.
I don't really want to narrow this conversation to politics. But
it's not politics. No. It's
because
we're not the politics. No, it's not politics. I'm not the.
You know what? When you say let measure, if you say let measure presidencies, how presidents don't they perform? Of course, I am SLPP. I am going to be biased. I will tell you the best presidents the more don't get in this country, from the Magai, from the Tijan Kaba to the retired Brigadier Julius Madabio. These are the best people when it comes to policies, fundamental policies, we don't come in place where the move country go before.
So
I will tell you say national lost governance. So not come to that.
You're not going to put on it. We're not going to go to the APC or SLPP because we're not get SLPP representative, and you come now as government person, not as party person. So they ask you from a nationalistic view, not as political view.
I will tell you from a nationalistic view. If I sit here, I will tell you from a nationalistic view. Yeah, I will tell you say from a nationalistic view. The best president ever who don't get. I don't even want us to go there. I don't want us to narrow this, because even President Leone, I don't measure right now until in time of office done. You get what I mean? He still get 3 years inside shelves. I can measure him now until in time of office done. When time of office done, but he has done commendable things them where they move country go before. If you want like country go before my brothers here, there are 3 things. One, you got to educate the people. The citizens have to be fully informed about governance. 2, health care, when a human capital development, right? 3, the people that are able to feed themselves. And when president don't come, all this in here, I know it's difficult, a lot of challenges than they, but these are the 3 things he has been focusing on. Okay. We see how we don't push education at this country. It's not perfect. We still get teachers them where they ask picking them for lesson fee. We still get teachers them, even when they say free quality education, then still they ask for money. It's not perfect, but you know go tell me say school enrollment not come up it. You know go tell me say villages they don't they way picking and they work at 5-10 miles now they know they access education. You know go tell me say first time Beke picking and they come 10 big towns and for letting sit Beke or selective entrance. Now then they sit them at every level. You know go tell me say we not get picking anybody where in a village. Pass you no one send picking go to school now, but you go send them. Now the school feeding programs about 13 districts them across this country. All in the freedom. Thomas nobodies.
Right.
And when you come back, you talk about healthcare outcomes. I don't tell you this. Hospitals them now across this country. Now you see so we get over 200 PhDs and more don't solarize.
All right, but we come over to you quickly. But before we take break, 64 year winner yesterday. We do a program wherein we give opportunity for people for call. 64 year, we still lay on blackout under the LCPP.
Yes.
Now we are say blackout mean most of the places yesterday.
Blackout be the most of the places.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to tell you that because maybe get light. You don't want to tell me then. If I maybe I did by IMAT, I be get lights be did. Yeah. Throughout this morning, so far they can't left lights. I don't use generator on my I don't have the luxury to that because you see they use generator. Government don't give me money for generator. Government don't give me money for fuel. But lights be there. Okay. I come this morning. Okay, but what thing I will tell you back to that light before you come in. Freetown is not Sierra Leone. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have this very clear. Thomas will agree with me. I know Thomas to be objective sometimes. He will agree with me that more communities across this country get access to electricity now than before 10 years ago.
Okay,
in these 64 years, you have communities like Bond, like
they get 24-hour light.
Then get electricity. And not to 24 hours. Solar electrification projects don't reach them.
Okay, we can't look at electricity. We'll go for a short break. When we come, we continue the program Good Morning Salon. The program na Good Morning Salon, where they come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. I come over to you, Moore-Conteh, Executive Director for Citizens Advocacy Network. You don't hear the speech from the President. We are in a talk about progress, especially on the economy, inflation rate steady, exchange rate steady, and also talk about the feed salon program. What you make up of some of them statements here by the President?
Yeah, well, most times when politicians then talk, you wonder whether waiting they talk taking into account the fact that the reality they stare at their face, and the people that they face the reality. You see, it is at times very, very disappointing for Lewe politicians that they consistently play on the heart and minds of the people, and they take the people for fools. Now we come to the issue of agriculture. Presidents make heavy weather on millions of dollars. Projects we worth millions of dollars. They call over 4 or 5 projects we worth millions of dollars. But you ask yourself the question, waiting at the turnout of them projects here so eventually. We still in a country where even the Gary we will buy, he dare pass the rest with the couch from overseas. People cannot feed themselves. We get a lot of people where they struggle for feeding themselves, forget even 1/10 food per day in this country. With all them billion dollars there where they talk about. So we get people who don't wake this morning, not even know how they ever start this day. Now this country, with the billions of dollars projects they hear about, so now this country is alone. 64 years of independence. The fact of the matter is, nobody who comes to the studio and talks, say, no government don't take steps. But you question, you ask yourself as a reasonable and prudent citizen, are these steps worth celebrating? Taking into account what you get now with disposal. That's why I was very deliberate when I do my introductory remarks for say, Salone is one of the countries blessed by God. I don't think say any country there where God bless this country. With the mineral resources we have, we get good land, and we get good people. With all the suffer we see as they suffer. Salomon peaceful. You hardly see Salomon take to the street. You hardly see Salomon become recalcitrant. Go to the French-speaking countries and they don't tolerate the entire way that happen in this country. So you will still see politicians who kind of programs there and they can't talk all highfalutin things. But when the people wait to do, some man don't wait this morning, you get in family. You don't even know what for go do about in family. We talk about feed salon. We talk about millions and billions of dollars projects that we don't come from international partners. All of them are there for go on individual pockets. We all know that. Because 64 years of independence, we still have people where they hold power, where they all have to enrich themselves at the expense of the masses. People may not want us to say these things, but we will say these things because enough is enough. We don't want to come on that platform here, not to every CRO and get the opportunity for to that platform here, then dare so. For talk about the issues, the way they affect the people. But when you get the opportunity, you have to say it because you have to say it for God and country. Right. Go to the health facilities today. We have people where they go to hospital. They go there and they come out worse than they go to hospitals. If you don't have money in this country today, you get certain sick, you will die in this country. Sick will make where we say for make you well, you will die. 64 years of independence with all the resources we have.
Well, that's for blame.
Leadership. We blame leadership. When we give people authority for government, we go against the backdrop that we trust and get hope in them that will come and change our lives. But what we don't see over time is going back and forth. going from bad to worse in this country.
What's in the way forward?
The way forward is we leaders therefore firstly be honest with themselves and take the people serious. We don't get much time. We don't get much time. We don't get much time for deliberate on their issues as well. But we get a serious leadership problem in this country where we leaders them just feel say every salary is stupid. They can just come talk so today we don't do this, we don't come with $1 million project. But when I'm out with money, it's enough for Siam, enough for Siam, enough for Siam.
What's in Thomas Moore definition of leadership?
Leadership. Now, when you get opportunity as a human being,
I mean, who do you regard as the leader?
When I talk about leadership, I talk about from the president onto the one the way he choose for take different positions and governance. Everything rises and falls with leadership. We talk about citizens, their responsibilities to their country. But waiting our leaders, their responsibilities over time to people in this country. We people invest so much in we leaders them. We make we leaders their lives them better than they were before they even take over power. But when they take over power is to oppress the people, begin play on the minds of the people, treat the people with contempt. We talk about the education sector. Don't go to education, free quality education you talk about. What is even free about this free quality education? Before now, people they pay fees, yes. You see primary school picking will pay 60,000 for a year or term. But now, even when we get free quality education, most parents they listen to this program, except they want to be hypocritical, go pay more than 2-3 million to 4 million at school, forget them picking and start school. And this country, even inside Freetown also today.
But that gets
the system the way government don't put in place, the Ministry of Education, for ensure that when they say free quality education, they exist. It exists in the real sense of the word, not just for play politics and score political points.
But government don't put in policy. The school management themselves get role for play. That's why Mike say we all need for
that is why I say. That's why I say everything rises and falls with leadership. Yeah. You don't just come, sit on television, radio, you declare free quality education, appoint people, and then only monitor the process and make sure they take steps. What type of steps? Proactive steps for ensure that people when they come out and want to undermine them processes here to be held to account and then make sure say then stop and things then go forward. Talk about the feed salon program you talk about. Most schools in this country, every Saturday they talk about feed salon. I mean, it's school feeding programs. We have undertaken a project, what we refer to as FACTS, providing education, information on education, free quality education. We travel the length and breadth of this country. You will be amazed for realize that there are schools in this country that even get benches for Silopa. All these free quality education you talk about, so now inside them free to has to go, then major city towns. Even there they say challenges. You go to some of the villages, them villages where people had to reach. You will be amazed. Black boys self picking and get. You see teachers and conditions, they're poor. Teachers they go on strike action because they cannot be catered for.
Okay.
And when they are not catered for, it tells on their productivity. There are a lot of issues we want to really discuss, but as I say, the time is not enough.
Yeah, we'll
continue. Yeah, continue for stay with me.
So when we sit on them platforms here to discuss these issues, especially on a day where we celebrate 64 years, looking at all what we will get at we disposal for better lives of the country, we will never tolerate we leaders ever sit down or begin to make speeches where they make as if everything is honky-dory when the people they continue for living squalor.
Okay, Thomas Moore-Conteh continue for stay with me inside the program. We come to the other studio guest from State House with Mike Berewa. Mike Berewa, 64 years of independence. Everybody gets in definition whether salon they progress or things don't go worse or the country stagnated. What's in the way forward in all of these arguments?
The way forward is citizenship, nationalism. I agree with it's about leadership. And maybe in your definition of leadership and my own definition of leadership may be probably different or differ, yeah? We'll talk about leadership, we'll not just look at the presidency. Even here, na 98.1 FM, leaders than they are. We'll talk about leadership, we'll talk about leadership at every sector. We'll talk about leadership in the judiciary, we'll talk about leadership in the executive arm, we'll talk about leadership now with community levels, we'll talk about leadership now with schools, we'll talk about leadership now with hospitals, we'll talk about leadership now every day as Sierra Leonean, as a citizen. Leadership matter. So I don't know. In your own definition of leadership, maybe he's just focusing on the presidency, because presidency is just a ceremonial head, right? My brother make mention.
Just a ceremonial head?
He's a ceremonial head.
But the president can change a state if he already
yes,
is the head.
It can be determined, but in one way not able to do. In one way not able to do, Musa. To be very sincere, right? It takes all of us. It takes even we, the citizens of this country. It takes all of us. Yes, president get immense responsibility, because at the end of the day, not make the appointments there, right? He has the powers to hire and fire. You don't get to tell me. He has the powers also for design and develop policies that will drive economy and drive the country, right? But the president is not able to do. It takes all of us. So where we brought out about leadership, I agree with that. Leadership in this country, but leadership is not just at State House. Leadership at every facet of this country, all walks of life. We as citizens and we as Leoneans get for also take and say, this is our country. Musa, let me give you a story. Me picking me first ball, right? In Keriade, na school. The American, I didn't bother. In Keriade, na school. We come, I ask him, say, so what do you want? What do you want to be? What do you want to do, Micah? And I said, Dad. I say, I want to be a fireman. Fireman, like that one the way they fire force. You get to tell me. I said, you don't want to be anybody now. Fireman, you want to be. But because to him, when it is see on the TV, it is see how the people that they put out fire, to him that is inspiring. But here I will tell you that you have a lot of families here. What career did they come? They dress them beginning like doctors, dress them like what? Engineers, dress them like lawyers. So all of that has to do politicians.
So
I don't know if they dress. I'm a politician. They dress too. You don't know. I'm a politician. But I mean, so what's it they go back to? It sits down back to our schools, our classroom. So that is why civic education is very important in this country. Now I make President Bio make sure say the Ministry of Information it put civic education there. Because it starts nationalism and patriotism.
But it therefore reflect on what's in the happen on the ground. If you picking me this salary, say one be fire force, you go agree.
If you say one for, if not that's the one do, yes.
Salon.
Yes. If not that's the one for do. What's I able to provide for him? If not that's the one for do, you're not going to change that. No, but the thing is, the point is, the problems of this country.
But I mean, the fundamental structures get challenged.
Right.
Because if you look at Fire Force, even them fighting gears get challenged. Even them vehicles that get challenged.
I agree.
So if person they pay fees for a picking, you say one be Fire Force.
So you were able to change. Let me ask you. You as a parent, you were able to change picking. You were able to change picking because of what you want for do. You change and say, let you not do one. You can't.
Okay.
If you say you want for change picking, Barack Obama and Gal picking, with all the presidents, with all Ivy League and university education we get, Malia decided she wants to be a photographer.
Okay.
You don't get to tell her, and Papa don't be happy with that. That's what she end up doing, right? So you keep on picking Musa, even if not salon day. You begin decide, say, I want to be journalist. Where Musa money no day? I want to be a reporter. In fact, that this will start for instill inside we picking them. Okay. Let we know they look at say everything in this life in Sierra Leone, it has to be once you go in politics, you make money.
Okay.
First time I will tell you this. A lot of people don't really pay attention to politics. I mean the past government, the past 10 years, where Ernest Bankroma come into governance, now you can make a lot of people that begin pay attention to politics. People fix the money they did. First time politics was about just service.
Money in politics because we see yourself come up from America and come and we see you now don't be you're not a politician.
Yeah, I'm a politician.
Money de para?
No money no dey.
Okay, continue for
because why I will say before you go Musa, I don't know if you get time.
Yeah.
Let me just come because you know will come back to me. Why I will say that, I will tell you this. I was a nurse practitioner overseas. I don't want to talk now how much I be make. I came here to serve. It's not the best of time for me. Right? I can't hire the serve. I don't get official vehicle safe.
Okay.
You don't get my own vehicle that they use. Basic salary is now the survival. I came here passionately to serve because you're not going to talk about something when you know one for be part of it. Right? So I don't know for other politicians, but for me, Usamide, that right sign the deal.
Because the reason why I asked that we don't see people in governance we nothing in day. But if you see them in recent times, things don't change. We are in people say money depend politics, but until you don't say you inside money no day.
No.
Continue for the way to inside the program now Good Morning Salon where they come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Musa?
The program Good Morning Saloon they continue and we look at messages then Usman.
This one from Alam J. Conteh CSL PP and their politics is a joke. No respect for the people they claim to serve. The bottom line is we the people are not ready to see our country move forward. If you are really patriotic to ourselves, these present group of SLPP on both sides will never have the opportunity to the seat of power. We are tired of the daily comedy instead of paying attention to the very basic things that those elected should do.
This one from Macton and England Villey say Thomas Mollett, don't forget the theme for this year independence anniversary is deepening national consciousness and national cohesion in a troubled world. The commemoration is expected to be observed through prayers and services in mosques and churches across the country.
This one from Lolo Gasperini say the president has already delivered the Independence Day speech, so arguing about whether he was physically in Sierra Leone is pointless. Even if he were here, it will not change the fact that people are suffering every day. Instead of wasting energy on distracting, we should be talking about the real issues affecting our lives.
Lolo Gasparini again is Ivory Coast civil war ended in around 2010 and it is much larger country than Sierra Leone. Yes, if you visit Abidjan today, you cannot even compare it to Freetown. They have stable electricity, clean water across access to basic amenities. Therefore, so Mike Berewa, we need to stop using civil war as excuse. As a nation, we should have moved beyond that by now.
This one from Emmanuel say thanks very much, Mike. The explanation about leadership. Leadership is not the presidency, but collective responsibility.
The last one from me for now say a comment from Eminent Ranking now Facebook page. Good morning, Radio Democracy. Please, I want you to ask the government official to be frank with himself. What is really we have achieved as a nation at 64 years? Because the ordinary people are not seeing nothing everyday suffering, no good network, good road, good medical center, no quality education, corruption all over the country. So what really do we want to reflect on as a nation when everything's are hard in the country? And at 64, we really need to hold a government officials accountable for the suffering in the country. This one too much for Weibo.
And the last one I go take this one say it's been a long time, Mr. Conteh. Continue the good work, and we hope that Sierra Leone will change someday. These are some of the messages them all get inside the program. We'll go over to you, Thomas, more quickly. We get some messages them with some people sending.
The messages are very clear. The fact is Sierra Leoneans them don't they receive less than they deserve. And even as we celebrate 64 years, we're supposed to celebrate 64 years. We feel say we power holders get a duty for ensure that they be truthful to themselves and to the people of this country, because this country gets everything we want. Now John Talida and Burkina Faso they change the fortune of the people and so in less than 2 years, because there is a will, there is a leadership will. When you see a leader way ready for change the lives of him people, you see him by actions.
I like the leadership you want here.
You see him by actions. The leadership we want here, a leadership we go be receptive to the wishes and aspirations of the people of this country, and we go use the resources of the country for better the lives of the people, and we will make the people of this country be cohesive. What we don't see over time, that tit for tat. Everybody we kind of power and for begin to grab, draw people where they close to them, they all can kapu, and left the people impoverished, fighting each other. We have seen politicians fighting themselves onto the point that they left power and they make people and become impoverished. 64 years down the line, we still grapple with the issues that we don't pass. Tell me one thing that this country we don't get sustainable, don't get right. Is it electricity? No. We get to electricity supply. We get to electricity supply. We're epileptic. It even born with houses. Even State House was not spared. State House was not spared. Forget an electricity supply. We're not sober for a country like this.
All right.
We get a health system. We don't fail with country seriously. The education system is nothing to be proud of. I must say this. Not forget about the politics. Not forget about all the highfalutin things we talk. We get a lot for do as a country.
All right.
And that is where we leadership get for really guys. We get for and be truthful to the people.
Okay.
And to the people of this country, we now need for really show with leaders, people who hold power, that we are the real bosses of this country, and that they are just servants. Okay. We cannot continue to surrender with rights, and we surrender with future and the potential of this country in the hands of people. We're not ready for change the fortune of this country, but for plunge them into corruption and what have you.
Okay.
Let we reach a point where this country will be buoyant and begin to export, instead of relying even to speak that this country will be important.
All right.
What's like this agriculture? What they talk about?
We will find time who can look at some of the issues then.
What you will talk about as a country?
Okay. We will find time who will look at the issues then.
Burkina Faso you do. You don't like a Johnson leader, but you see the willingness for able to change the fortune of the people, and people they appreciate that.
Okay. Plenty thank you.
Poverty all over the place.
Plenty thank you for joining inside the program, Thomas Moore-Conteh. Over to you, Mike Berewa.
So if I sit here, I can't talk about the inadequacies na 98.1. I will point Moku. But generally, 98.1 is doing great. Now this I want let me man understand. I know they tell them say we're perfect. I know they tell them say Leone at 64 we are where we want to be. We still have challenges in our healthcare system. But there are tremendous gains we've made in the healthcare system. We are not retrogressing. I just tell them we are not. Thomas, we are not. If you talk about indicators here, so you want to tell me say the maternal mortality reduction na hoax, na retrogression that's not a progress.
Mike, 64 years celebration. A message to Salonians as part of president's speech now for make people then get hope. What are your message?
And that's the hope.
So you think it's opening?
Yes, we get hope. We get. I don't bit of structure in the talk, Tom. We listen me. Every country now this world get challenges. The great America, you're gonna get over how many millions of people who are beggars who sleeps under the bridge, who are poor. You got to understand that this country, even this country becomes sophisticated, it got to left a lot of people behind. Citizens' responsibility is key, my brother. Let's say you bring factories in this country, you bring Apple, you bring IBM, you bring Google, you bring Benz, BMW. They are not going to employ everyone in the street. They are going to employ the people who are skilled.
The people they talk
you
about basic amenities.
No, I am
roads,
coming. Yes, I'm coming.
Lights,
I am
water.
Coming. I am coming.
Thing for it.
I am coming. You talk about human capital development. You get to empower the people then first. If you look at all the things that you talk about, so Musa, you now play something just now. Say by June, we are going to connect communities in this country to the Feed Salon program, bridges, high-end bridges, over 5 communities that where people don't be the rich day. Thomas go say that in the back in a lie, right? I tell them here say we have connected communities, more communities in this country on electricity. Freetown is not Sierra Leone.
Alright.
When you go upline, Boku people that they don't connect to solar, Boku homes and they will get light. Yeah? Comparatively to high within 10 years. I know they tell you say it's perfect. I know they tell you say it's 24 hours. I know they tell you say, but we are making gains.
Okay.
If time be there, I be really want to can tell me brother.
We will find time for that.
The how you call them?
Mediocre games.
No, it's not mediocre games. You can call it mediocre games, bro. You connecting people's life. You connecting people to electricity. Say mediocre.
No, my people. You don't live in the Western world. You see things.
No, I know, but this is what I'm saying. We are not where we used to be. We want to be, Tom. We are not where we want to be. You can't say we are not doing nothing. You can't say Sierra Leone there is nothing to celebrate. You and me sitting here, there are countries. People in Gaza cannot sit here and talk like I'm here. You they sit down to talk. People in Congo cannot sit down and talk like I'm here. You sit down to talk, my brother. Even peace. When you sit down, they talk with a laugh so. With then a radio. This is something to celebrate, bro. Tell we say let's do more. Tell we say we have challenges in this country. Tell we say we need to do more, but don't say we have not. We have nothing to
thank you very much for joining me at the edition of the program. Mike Berewa, Director of Communication, NAS State House. Every said the program would look at saloon at 64. Waiting we don't gain, waiting we need for do going further, and also the Executive Director of Citizens Advocacy Network, Thomas Moore-Conteh, being also in the program for April discourse.